I'm going to sit here for a second because oftentimes on the YouTube, when later it goes on, you catch me looking really bad. Like, and that's the only way that they will give you the, like, starting point. It's horrible. So, peaceful, serene. It probably won't be peaceful and serene because my dogs are here and we've had a day. It's been a day. Hi, I'm Lexi. I am here to, I don't know, announce, not really announcing anything. Long Lost came out this week. It's Tucker's book. It's the fourth in the Masters of Mercenaries Forgotten series. And so I'm here to answer some questions and talk about that. Chloe Bell is here with me.
Hello, everybody.
As always. And Precious is at my feet. Where is Frodo?
She's sweet.
Frodo has already sacked out. So we're hoping Frodo is gonna stay calm. Gonna chill. She will not chill.
I was going to try to pick her up for a minute so everyone can see her.
Okay.
There she is. Say hi, Precious.
Mm-hmm. She's mean. She real mean. She real mean.
She's not mean to me, though.
No, she loves you. She's nice to me.
Me.
But she barks at everything. I mean, she would be like the meanest McKay Taggart dog. I should have named her. I should have named her Aaron Argent.
That would have been perfect.
I really should have.
She would have been. She is the.
I really should have named them Aaron and Theo because he mostly just likes to lay around and snack, and she likes to try to kill things.
Yes.
So I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to talk about whatever you like.
Stacey McClellan says your hair looks gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
It's the only time. It's clean. We're really, really happy that it's clean. Where do we first? You have a list. She has a list.
We were going to first start off with Long Lost, but we already did that, I guess.
We already said.
Do you want to go right into questions?
Long Lost is out.
Yes. Do you want to go right into questions?
That's fine.
Okay. Then I'm going to start off with a fun one.
Okay.
So I want to ask, when are you coming to Australia?
I have no idea. Not this year. At some point in time, I really want to get out there. It's a really, really long trip, obviously. And I've already got a trip out of the country planned. I've got 2 this year.
Yes.
But they're both to Europe. One of them is a research trip, and one of them is an actual signing. But Australia is absolutely on my list. Definitely something I want to do.
Okay. Debbie Watson is asked, who's been the hardest character to write? Let's stop for a second and tell everyone where we got these questions from. About the LLU. We should do that.
So we got these questions from a new group I have called Lexi's Literary Universe, which comes from the lovely Jennifer Zepper, who likes to talk about the LLU like it's the MCU, probably because it's as complicated. Also, I'm a comic book nerd, so I really like it. Lexi's Literary Universe is a place where I'm going to put a lot of promo stuff. Most of these people have come from a group that I've had for years called Lexi's Doms and Dolls, which is also open for membership. It's just a very different, it's more like, it's more a bunch of friends discussing all kinds of books. And it's a very, very private group.
So, yes.
Feel free to contact Chloe Vale if you want to get involved in that. The Lexi's Literary Universe is all Lexi all the time. I post words I'm writing today. I almost posted a video of my dogs, and it was super cute, and it was like 5 minutes of how cute my dogs were, and then I realized I hadn't actually hit the button to record it, so that didn't go well. So Lexi's Literary Universe, Lexi's Doms and Dolls, but these particular questions, a lot of them come from the LLU group.
Yes. So Debbie Watson asks, who has been the hardest character for you to write?
I don't know. Probably whoever I'm writing right now.
But I think if you talked about like over time,
I mean, look, I had these periods. It's really hard because you don't ever know when you're writing, like, who's going to speak to you, who's going to be more open, and which characters are going to be shut down. Like, when I started out, I expected Ian Taggart to be this broke-down bastard who absolutely wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't discuss any of his feelings, and turns out he's really, really comfortable with himself, and really comfortable with being perfectly open about every freaking thing he feels. That was not the case for a man named Julian Lodge.
Yes.
And some people around me still talk about my Julian Lodge period and what a bastard I was when I was writing Julian Lodge. Julian was that way. Damon was that way. Damon was really shut down. I mean, we even had to like figure out how to talk to Damon. He was so hard. I oftentimes like writing the really tough females, probably because it's like who I would like to be. Like, I love writing Erin. Erin's fun. If you've read Long Lost, my new favorite character to write is Sandra.
Sandra was a blast.
Sandra, who started out as very much was, honestly, at one point in time, Sandra was going to be the bad guy of this book. And she just kind of took over at some point, and at first she's just very like, I'm going to protect my daughter, and then you really get to see who she is. So I love her. I hope I'm going to love writing solo. We'll see.
Okay. I think so. I'm going to scroll back up just a minute because Elizabeth Lynn asked if Tucker's story came together as you thought it was going to, or did it change, and if so, what influenced the change?
Okay, it's really funny because I've got a bunch of notebooks in here. I'm trying to consolidate notebooks. I've got so many notebooks. I probably got 30 notebooks that over the years I have put things down in. And if I thought about it, I would pull it out. Because originally Tucker had a twin brother. He did. Originally Tucker had a twin brother, and the twin was the one who went in.
Yes. And
Tucker was the one who took over it. So these things morph over time. If you could look through my notebooks and see, like, I found one the other day that was about Two Love, and the character names were completely different. Like, all the character names were different, and it was so weird to look at that. No, that was originally in my head versus what came down on the page. So, no, that went weird. The one I'm writing right now had a very different feel to it in the beginning too. I oftentimes will have something in my head of what I think is going to be the majority of the book, and that turns out to be this very little slice.
That's going to happen on this one.
Yeah.
But there are other times that you have something in your head, that a scene that you are working towards and that goes perfectly. And I'm thinking specifically of the town meeting in Two to
Love again.
When he says, I don't want to have that. What is that?
You can run that rubber duck against me. No, that's one of my favorite things I've ever written.
And that you had that in your head before you even started the book. Like, you knew exactly
the Bliss Town meeting.
Yes. So, somebody asked what we're sipping on. This is
this is the best sipping tequila in the whole world.
The best. It's so good.
It is Raspado tequila. It's Coralejo. I don't know. My Spanish is bad, but it's good.
It's
good tequila.
And then someone asked about how to get involved in either of those groups. So if you want to be in the Doms and Dolls, you'll have to message me, Chloe Val, and Lexi's Literary Universe. You should just be able to type that into your search bar and ask to join. Ask to join, and we'll approve you. We've been checking in multiple times a day to approve people. So. Okay, so...
Oh, girl, if I get to Australia, I'm going to New Zealand.
Absolutely.
I come see Shippy.
Absolutely. Okay, so next question was... Oh, we already answered that one. Okay. Of all your planned books, announced, or future books, what character are you excited to dive into?
What character am I most excited to dive into? Probably Solo and Ezra.
It's got an exciting little plot.
They're going to be... There's going to be some hate sex.
There's going to be some hate, and
there's going to be some hate sex. And when I say that the universe changes forever, that doesn't mean that somebody dies, but it's going to be big.
It is going to be.
It's going to be it's going to be a big plot. And can I put some rumors to rest? There will be no menage with Levi that does not involve somebody cutting his dick off. So, if anybody thinks that I'm going to try to redeem Levi Green, but I got plans for him. It's gonna be fun. He's not gonna like it.
Erica said this book totally took me by surprise, and that's hard to do. She says kudos to you.
Oh, thank you.
Jennifer Zephyr's asking, when they morph like that, like Tucker's, do you just keep writing, or do you stop and figure things out?
I usually can't stop writing. Right now, I'm kind of in a weird place between. To kind of explain how my year went awry. I am writing. I'm what's called a hybrid author. So I write for myself and I self-pub, but I also do a series for. Usually have at least one, maybe two traditionally published books a year. Well, this year I got 3 traditionally published books, and that was not on the calendar. So this year I'm pretty much having to write solid until April. I've got to finish the one I'm working on right now, which is Charmed, and then I've got to finish the 3rd Butterfly Bayou book because it's due. It's going to come out in December when it was originally supposed to come out in July of next year.
So they squeezed those 3 books into one year, and it kind of threw everything off. So no, I just had to go with it. Yeah. Kimberly List asked, which of the characters are you most protective of?
Protective of? Like I get upset when fans don't understand it, or I probably get that way a lot about Avery.
Yes.
I get really upset when somebody doesn't understand Avery. I don't get upset when somebody doesn't understand Chelsea. She did that on her own damn self. I mean, look, Chelsea's a hard case. I sometimes I have learned going in who are going to be the characters, especially the heroines, because readers are a lot easier on heroes than they are heroines. The heroines who readers aren't going to like. And I knew going in, I was a little surprised because there were some really harsh reactions to Avery. But I knew people wouldn't. I knew that there would be people out there who didn't like Steph. If you are a person who has never felt guilty in your, felt real genuine guilt, if you're a person who's never had to overcome a lot of those things, then you might look at Steph and think, oh, she's weak. But from my perspective, this is a person who, when her being was being formed, suffered this horrific tragedy. And she has to find, in a lot of ways, she has to find her faith. I talk about it a lot. I talk about faith, the universe, blah, 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 a lot. I often say I almost write erotic inspirationals. But I also, the weird thing about Steph is I got to the end of it and I realized Steph has also got a little postpartum depression. And I didn't put that in the book, but I realized that was also coming from her character. So those type of characters, like Erin can handle herself. If you don't like Erin, she don't care. Yeah. I don't think all the guys are good. But Avery really bothers me because Avery, I think, has a little piece of my soul. Maybe Callie, too.
Yes.
And Nell. But also, Nell don't care.
She doesn't care, but she's misunderstood by a lot of people, too.
Yeah.
She's another one of those characters that a lot of people don't understand.
Don't get.
Right. Christina Bonnet asked, so you're getting 3 Butterfly Bayou books this year? Yes, you're getting 3.
Yes. There's one in May 25th, August
something in the
20-something, and then December 20-something.
Yeah. Something, yeah, it'll be something.
Yeah, and this is my first mass market, so this is the first time you'll be able to walk into Walmart and buy a book.
So that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Erica Wilson said that Levi Green, no redemption for Levi Green.
I have.
How about a prequel book? I'm assuming that's Darth Vader, but I'm not sure. I think it might have auto-corrected there.
Yeah. How about no? We're probably not gonna. We probably don't have time to do that. We probably should go to Bliss, but I assure you there will be some stuff about obviously there's going to be some stuff about why Levi is the way he is, and I am probably going to give him a POV in that book.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I'm probably going to give him a POV in that book also because I would really like to write a sociopath. Because that's what he is.
And you haven't done one of those in a long time.
I haven't. I think the last one I did was... Who's the last
Lost
one?
in Enforcement?
No.
Has it been one since then?
Yeah. There were Eli Nelson had one.
Oh, that's true.
Eli Nelson had one.
Elizabeth Lynn asks, after you finish a story, do you overanalyze it, overthink the story? Or do you,
I do that, girl. I do that while I'm writing it. We always know, my husband knows when I'll start out, I'm like, this book's going really well. It's great. I'm really happy with it. And then I get to, this is the worst book ever. And he's like, you're at 20%.
That's when it usually happens.
20%. I think it is a piece of rotting trash fire garbage until I put it down. And then a couple of weeks later, we do the table read. And then I'm like,
and that's put it down at the end.
At the end, yeah. No, I think it's garbage through the whole thing. We put it down the end, and it's really great, especially with the New York books. I don't have to look at them for 3-4 months. I usually only take a couple of weeks until the table read for the indie books. But I read it, I get about halfway through, and I will, at some point in time, look at Chloe and be like, yeah.
She does.
This is actually really not bad. And she'll be like...
It's gotten so bad, though. My husband, who's not involved in the business, she'll say something about it if we're out to dinner, and he's like, oh, you hit that point in the book.
Yeah, you're at that point.
So, yeah, it's not...
By the way, Charmed is garbage. It's terrible. It's hideous. And this one is really the one that will kill my career.
The hideous one.
Yeah.
This is really... This time it's really, really true. Okay, we'll go back to these questions.
Somebody said tequila. Yes.
Tequila, yes.
But it's a sipping tequila. It is not a... It's not a shooting tequila. It's really good tequila.
Felicia Townsend asked, what events are you doing this year? And you might want to mention where we can find them also on the website.
You can find them on the website under events. Is that it?
I think so.
It's
I think
events.
that's what it's at now.
Events. It's up at the top. LexiBlake.net. It's got lots of fun information, including what books are coming out soon, reading order. It's got a recommended reading order. It's got lots of stuff in it. But it also has my events. My first event of the year is Book Lovers Con in Nashville. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. I then go from Nashville. That next weekend I go to a Polycon, which is in DC. I am at Rare Edinburgh? I don't know. It's Scotland.
Yes.
I've heard it both ways. I'm sure it's Edinburgh. Mm-hmm. And then Book Bonanza here in DFW. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's it for the year.
But this is really important. If you're attending one of those events and you want one of her self-published books, like Master's Mercenaries or Lost in Bliss, please go to the website and click the form to pre-order it because we will bring very little, particularly to Scotland. We won't be bringing much to sell. The bookstore will have my New York books that are out, the ones that are out. So I think at that point in time, it'll probably be Order of Protection, Evidence Desire, and the first Butterfly Bayou book is all they'll have. And then at Book Bonanza, we won't have the second one, so it'll be the same. So if you want any of the M&M books or the Bliss books or any of those, then pre-ordering is the way to go. And you can even this year pre-order for Book Lovers Con, because again they'll only have they won't even have Butterfly Bayou. They will have the 3 Lawless books is all the bookstore
is all the bookseller is going to have. So if you want something else, now you can pre-order for me and I'll have it for you at the table
during the signings.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll skip to here 2 questions here. Erica Wilson asked, will there be any more books from Bliss?
Yes.
Yes, there will.
Yes. Again, the New York contract kind of went boom in my face. I'm going to try to get a book called Far From Bliss out towards the end of this year. I'm hoping for to do it sometime this fall. Far From Bliss is actually going to finish up the Nell and Henry story. It's probably going to be a bigger book because it's going to have 5 points of view, which I normally would never do. But I don't want to just do another little novella with Nell and Henry. I want that to play into the bigger story, which is going to be Michael, Lucy, and Ty. Michael is the crazy dude on the mountain. He's going to come down.
And somebody asked how many more books in Texas are in the list. I don't know that there's an answer to that.
I mean, I've got a couple planned. I've got Far From Bliss. I've still got Wynn and the Dawson brothers to deal with. Wynn and Naomi. And then I've got the Darren.
Yes, the little sister. Max.
Oh, Brooke. I've got Brooke to deal with. But see, Brooke, here's... At some point in time, there's going to be a time jump, and I've got to decide if I want to jump Sirens and Bliss 2. Far From Bliss will not. Far From Bliss will be in the current timeline. But after that, I've got to decide exactly what I want to do, and we'll see.
Well, there'll be more Masters of Minaj books, and I know you talked about that. So
we've got plans for more. It all comes down to bumping our schedules together. We both have traditional contracts. And we both have time periods in which we are not allowed to publish. Last year, the reason that At the Pleasure of the President came out in April was it was the only time we could contractually both publish a book. So we've got a bunch of... It is easier for us to set that down because there's no overarching plot
that everyone's waiting on.
That everybody's waiting on. But as soon as we possibly can, we're going to try to get back to that.
Okay, and then we've got another question about Stealing Summer. I know that you had a lot of questions about this. So.
Let's talk Stealing Summer. I do not normally do this. Normally, if this were like we just talked about, if this were a Tucker's book and things took a weird turn, I would just have to plow through. I do not do that with Thieves books.
It's too hard. There's too many.
Well, but it's also that Thieves is almost this little... Thieves is this thing I don't do for money. I get to write one once a year that I know it's not going to make money, and that's fine. It's almost like a little vacation for me to get to a Thieves book. But I sometimes will get into the middle of these, and I write them a little differently. I do not plot Thieves. I kind of know where I'm going. I've got a bunch of notes on what I want to happen, and then I let it flow. Oftentimes, that leads me to a place where I am right now. I've got a really hardcore ending to Stealing Summer. I am at a place in Stealing Summer where I'm 115,000 words in, and I now have to figure out how to get from where I am to that end of that book that I cannot change because it has to happen. Yeah, it has to happen like this. Like I said, normally, if this were a Masters of Merchandise book, I would let it be what it wanted to be. Fine. For the course of this series, because of where I want it to go, because Thieves always overarches. Thieves, I've got some Thieves stuff in my head, stories in my head that go 15 years down the line. Because of the way this has to end, I have to figure out a logical way to get there. I can't push it. I can't shove it in. I just have to let it happen. I ran up against a time when I had 3 books with hardcore delivery dates, and I've had to put it aside. As soon as I figure it out, I will pick it up. We're not going to pre-order it. Not going to. I mean, I might put it up for pre-order, like,
so we can
but I'm but I'm not going to hold it or anything.
No.
As soon as we can, we're going to get that book out.
And for Fairy Story, that would be another one that's down the line. Yeah. I mean,
that's one where I would have to choose between writing I would really have to choose between writing a Thieves book or that.
Yeah. Someone, Candace asked, when will Levi get his justice?
In the next book.
The next book, yeah.
We got one more left, and he will not come out of that book.
But that is not the end of Masters of Merchandise.
No, I'm sorry. That's not the end of...
Just want to make sure that everyone knows
That's the end of this little, The Forgotten, and then we to go into next February. I don't mind announcing that next February Hutch's book will be out. So
and that'll be under the name Masters
Mercenaries Reloaded.
Back in Dallas, back to
yep. Except we're going to be 7 or 8 years down the line.
Yes.
So that'll be fun because we get to see where everybody is down the line. And I'm doing that specifically because we've got a younger group. I don't know if I've ever actually said what age they were, but I mean, Michael is 30 something. That some of them are, but like Hutch was 23 when we started, and I like older heroes. I've written some younger heroes, but I really prefer an older hero. And we've also got a deal. We've got Grace's sons who will be back, and they'll be approaching 30, which is a nice age for a hero. So we'll deal with some of those men, some of those guys, and we get to see the kids as they're older, and we get to kind of start to get a glimpse of where those kids will go and what their relationships, at least with each other, are. And I talk a little bit about that in Charmed because they discuss the fact that Ella is really, really, really mean to Cooper, really mean to Cooper. Like she's and it's because she likes him. Cooper is Alex and Eve's son.
Yes. I just saw a question roll by on yours. I think I missed it. When you write an author, catch the name. When you write an author, how much of that is you? When
I write an author? Like Serena.
Yeah.
Like Serena. Serena was totally me. Oh my God. Serena was the easiest character ever because I just wrote down the shit I do. the dancing around. I do that. Yeah. It was not to Lady Gaga though. One time, Rich walked out, and this was when we were living. I was living at the other house, and I was on the balcony, and I had it, and it was what is that song? Second Chance by Sometimes with God.
Probably not.
Anyway, I was dancing to that with my headphones in. I turned around and nearly had a heart attack because my husband was sitting there going, Really? Really? Yeah. No, a lot of the trouble I had when I started writing in writers groups, I put in, that was totally what Serena went through. Went through a lot of that. It was really funny because the one thing I wrote in that I thought would absolutely never happen, I thought, this is the most ridiculous thing, this is just like the dream, was that she hit the times. When I wrote that, I was like, people are going to think that's ridiculous because nobody who's writing menage stuff is ever going to hit the times.
Okay, let's go back to our questions here.
Okay.
We did that one. Christy Wright wants to know if you're adhering to your New Year's promise to take care more for yourself.
You know what? I have already taken off. Like, what have I done this year? I took off a full week. I took off like a whole week and went to Disney World. That was awesome. And this is a true story. And everybody, if you see Rebecca Zanetti, she will tell you the story too. So we're on the Mount Kilimanjaro ride. This is me and Rebecca Zanetti and the fabulous Liz Berry. And we are sitting in the back of the safari ride. And the guide person is like, the black rhinos are out. We don't know where the white rhinos are. They're usually out. They're very friendly. We keep driving, and then all of a sudden we stop, and we notice that there are a whole bunch of people walking around. Now, there are not usually a whole bunch of people walking around that ride. And that is when the white rhino charges the freaking Jeep. Comes really close, and I've got a picture of it somewhere. I climb into Rebecca Zanetti's body because I am like, it is like 3 inches away from me when it swerves and goes the other way. And then we had a really nice escort out of the the safari ride, Kilimanjaro Safari or whatever it was, of the safari ride. We had a really nice escort out, and those things can haul butt, and they bounce a lot. Yeah, it was fun. We had drinks that night too.
Okay. Ann Walker's asks, will there be a spin-off series with Adam and Jake's new business?
I meant for that to happen. That's one of the. I mean, that's kind of why I also wanted to spin it off, because the truth is, I'm going to take these characters probably over a 30-year period or something, 35-year period, because the kids are going to grow up. I think it's right behind, yeah, because the kids are going to grow up. The truth of the matter is, nobody stays at one job for that long. So I actually, in a lot of ways, see what's wrong.
My eyes are nice. Sorry,
was it?
that.
No, it was because of the rhino.
It was a terrible story.
It was the rhino. She realized how close she came to losing me. But really, Rebecca Zanetti knows what it feels like to have me on top of her. So when I split that off, it was really so I could, because a guy like Adam is so smart. He's brilliant, and they would go and do something on their own. And also because we want to bring in some new characters. So I really thought I was going to do that. I don't know if I'm going to now. I've got too much going on. What?
Absolutely.
I have a whole lot of series going on right now. So Adam and that group will continue to show up, but I don't know that I'm going to do a spinoff. I never say never, but...
That was really funny. Leslie Porter, you made me laugh. You said Death by Rhino would be a good way for Levi to die.
Oh, no. I've got a way better way for Levi to die.
You totally made me laugh.
I really do. It'll be way more painful than Rhino.
Okay, so then that kind of the same thing, but probably almost the same answer. Will there be a spin-off series for Wayne's Brothers?
I really meant to do that.
And that would be kind of a fun one to do, because you're tied into Texas Sirens.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. They might show up in Texas Sirens. That would probably be the place where I would say that the younger brothers would show up. The older one is garbage, and I won't write a book about him. He's already happy and everything, and he probably doesn't deserve it. But
that's right. After what he did. After what he did, definitely.
But the younger ones could definitely show up in Texas Sirens, and Clive Weston could definitely either show up in Texas Sirens or one of my 1001 Dark Nights books where I tend to stay at Sanctum. So either one of those.
Because you already, and another question was about the Dawson Brothers, but you've already answered that one.
Yeah, Dawson Brothers are definitely Texas Sirens.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have another question about, are the characters from the PG kids ever going to come back? And
I don't know. I've got a lot of kids. But you never know. And I'd have to work that out, because we kind of own those characters together. So that would be something we would have to work out. But again, never say never. And given what I know about how the core group of those kids, what they're going to do, they would definitely be around political figures.
That's true.
Yeah, they would.
Very true. Lindy says, poor Clive, he does need an HEA. He does.
He does.
He's had a rough time.
He's had a rough time, and he's just one of those characters who, I've been writing 6 books a year, and I can't get to every single one of them, and I feel really bad, because he's sad. And they use his stuff all the time. They use his shit constantly. Tucker goes and hides out. They went and hid out and... Did I say?
A spoiler.
Did I... What?
That might have been a spoiler.
It's not.
If you haven't read Long Lost yet.
Okay. It's not that they go to a house. They have to be in a house somewhere. Yes. It's not camping. We're not animals.
Susan Backish asked, are there any plans of doing a signing in New York?
I'm in New York a lot. I love New York. If I find the right thing and I'm there, I'll totally do New York. I'll probably do Thriller Fest next year. And at Thriller Fest, there's a signing.
Yeah. Amanda said that maybe some of Ian's kids could go work for Adam and vice versa.
That's actually not a bad idea. I know where Ian's girls go.
Yes.
Ian's girls will rebel.
Diana Freeman wants to know where you got the top.
Oh, it's Eloquy. Yeah, it's Eloquy. Online.
that is all the questions we have here, and I know we missed some. I will try to go back up and get some and look over what we have.
My dog is licking me. It's
because
gross.
she wants to get into your lap.
Come here. Come here.
Come here.
Okay, now I feel very much like Goldfinger, except with the Chihuahua. I'm going to take over the world. Yes, Mr. Bond.
Oh, we had other questions. That's right. So Colin Kinsey is old. So we've got the countdown that came out that you did.
Okay, here's what I'm going to try to do. I will do this sometime before the end of the year. I would really do it before summer. We'll see if I have time to do it. I'm going to collect all the shorts and do kind of a Taggart Family Values antho that will include Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine, the Rough Night, and Make Lemonade. A new story called Homecoming, which that would be a spoiler if I told you what that was about, but you can probably guess. And then it'll include the short called Countdown that was available briefly, and it is basically, it tells you, it's a little hint of the future and what Kinsey and Kala do and who Kinsey's eventual heroine will be. And more importantly, who the bad guy they're really going to fight is, because you already met him. You just might not know it.
Yes. Because that's all set up. All that's set up. Eventually those shorts will become long, full-length books.
What? Not Rough Night.
No. Sorry, the countdown.
Countdown.
Yes.
Only countdown.
Yes.
There's not going to be a full-length novel where he runs through the streets of Dallas yelling, "I am motherfucking Emmett Smith."
Yes,
no.
that is not what I meant. But the Kinsey and Colin ones will eventually read that. What's your favorite snack to eat while brainstorming?
Oh, we brainstorm over pancakes.
Pancakes. Yum. We did good pancakes this morning.
We brainstorm pretty much every Thursday morning. We go and we have breakfast, and we usually we talk about the week, and a lot of times we'll figure out what I'm going to write for the week, and Chloe will sit there and take notes and write things down while we have pancakes.
Someone above asked if what you and Shayla's plotting sessions look like, and I will say that it involves a lot of wine and a lot of pacing. A lot of pacing back and forth.
And the last time we did it, we worked with sticky notes, which can you reach over? My favorite thing in the world, grab that, is this. This is the Post-it sticky note. I plot on these things. I post them on the walls. I count my word count on them. I have every color known to man. So it involves a lot of that.
It does, and a lot of wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So let's see. Sorry, let me read a little bit more. We talked about that. What do you like to do when you're not writing?
When am I not writing? Well, what we're about to do, which is when we're done with this, we are going to head upstairs to the media room and watch Sabrina. Not that I only watch Sabrina. It's just we watch a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of sci-fi TV. I'm obsessed with magicians. I left them. I want to be Margot.
But
we watch movies. We're horror movie freaks.
We're on the third season. We're about halfway through the third season of Sabrina.
Yeah.
And it's been very exciting. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch.
Other than that, I like to travel. We always try to do something I go to kind of learn something about the culture and where we are.
And sometimes that's a ghost tour.
Sometimes that's a ghost tour.
But you'd be surprised.
Scariest ghost tour I've ever been on. I've been on a lot of ghost tours. I've been to the Dr. Ripper tour. I've been to a lot of them. Scariest ghost tour ever, which one?
Birmingham.
Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama is the freakiest ghost tour.
Yeah, they really do. It was fun. And
we've done several in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Alabama.
And then we were left.
And then we were left because she thought it would be a really smart thing for us to, wait for the hotel shuttle to come pick us up
that should have worked.
At midnight in the middle of Birmingham, Alabama.
Just the two of us, but it was not.
Just the two of us.
Way overreacted to this.
Oh, like I did to the freaking rhino. I almost died that too.
Okay, so someone asked, Brady Rice asked about Noah Lawless. So, you want to explain what's going on with law?
Okay, New York does this from time to time. I'm going to put you down, baby. No, she's just going to put you. New York does this from time to time. They didn't like the way the first two sold, so they did not buy the third book.
Well, no, they bought Lawless. That was awful. No, that was Courting Justice. Sorry.
This is Courting Justice.
Sorry.
Noah was supposed to be the third Courting Justice
right.
book. It was called Proof of Attraction. I've got a plot for it and everything. I have to write it on my own. I've kind of put it aside because New York basically dropped Perfect Gentleman after 3 books. We went ahead and finished out the series because we couldn't leave you hanging. So the last 2 books are actually independently published. The pricing thing is weird. New York prices a book. With the PG books, we decided that we were going to price exactly the way that New York was because we couldn't have somebody coming in and going, oh, the last 2 books are cheaper, so we're just going to read those. Because it's such an interconnected story. You would be so lost and it just wouldn't work. It's kind of the same way with, I can write it and I will write it at some point in time. I always hesitate because I hate, it's just weird. We have to kind of mimic what the first 2 look like, and it's just weird. Eventually, yes, like I said, Noah and Margarita will get their book at some point in time.
Our friend Margarita will bug her until it happens because she is waiting for her book.
Why do you think I drink tequila? Margarita made me do it.
We have shirts that say that, don't we? I think we do. Let's see. How do you decide what you're going to write or not write?
It depends. I am a single income provider, so in a lot of ways, I have to write. I have to pick the majority of what I'm going to do in a year based on what will feed my many multitudinous children and the dogs. They like to eat too. Oh my God! He got up.
I was going to say Frodo is ready to make
his debut.
His debut.
He doesn't really like to be held like that. He just likes to sit on people.
So yeah, he's not gonna. He probably will be here in a minute, but I was just.
So I made a deal. I kind of made a deal with myself a while back, and that was that I would have what I call tentpole books, and those are 4 books, once a quarter, that will make sure that my kids get fed and we can live. And that means 2 Masters and Mercenaries books a year. Always 2 Masters and Mercenaries books a year. 1 Blister Texas Sirens, and then I get 1 other book. I usually write more than that. So right now what I'm trying to do is finish out Butterfly Bayou. So my New York contract is done. And then I'll try to write another book for New York because I like having the dual track publishing. And then a Thieves book and Blister Sirens, and then we start Reloaded next year, if that makes sense. Probably just went all over the place.
Luana asked, will we see Sandra Croft again? And yeah, so.
Yeah, Sandra shows up in Charmed, and she's fun.
She's a lot.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know. A lot of people, I've already had people asking when does Sandra get her book. I don't know. Sandra's a rolling stone. Man, Sandra goes where the breeze takes her. And somebody was like, whose daddy's going to take Sandra? I'm like, whose son was Sandra gonna take?
Yeah,
Like,
Sandra is
in Charmed, there's this new CIA guy, and he's this little bitty baby boy, like all at 23 years old, and Ian is so mean to him. But I think Sandra might school him. I think Sandra might show him the way of the world.
Okay, so we've got a question from Susan. What is your personal favorite series? And I know
To write?
a couple.
To write or to read?
I think to read.
Oh, to read. Oh, see, did you see me just get really excited? My favorite series right now is Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah Maas. I also love Black Decker Brotherhood. I love and adore it. I'm really excited for the new Demonica by Larissa Ione. I love Rebecca Zanetti's Dark Protectors. If you can tell, I read a lot of paranormal. That's mostly what I read is paranormal.
I just saw this question come across on your screen over there, usually behind mine. It's Ian versus Sandy McDown, but not really.
He wouldn't. He respects the fuck out of her.
He respects her.
It's really funny because I'm having to deal with the idea of what happens when you're like this big alpha man and you want to protect the woman, but the woman is supposed to be protecting you. And I've got a lot of Ian and Alex conversation with JT about what it means to see women differently. Because JT's coming from a very, very male-dominated oil and gas. And I don't know how much of this will show up in the book, but my sister-in-law is a petroleum engineer. And she's one of the only female petroleum engineers who I've ever met. And at the time when she was coming up, she was really one of the only. I think she was one of two in her class at A&M. And this idea that women they need to be protected, and that is a big source of tension between the hero and the heroine in this book. And so it's really interesting to watch Ian discuss why he likes to have a woman watch his back.
I haven't picked up the book.
No, that's because I wrote it today.
That's why I haven't read it yet. Chloe Rand says that Sandra's going to rule Sanctum.
She is, man. I'm telling you.
That's the kind of character.
I'm telling you. And Tucker will be like, no.
That was one of my favorite things in that book.
It was like, ugh.
It just can't happen.
No.
Somebody asked, did you see the new covers for Court of Thorn and Roses?
I haven't. I am waiting for new stuff with the sisters. I have not read Crescent City though, and it just came out. But that's her new one. But I'm very excited. She's going to be at a Polycon, and I am going to be a chicken. And
really?
yeah, I'm going to be a chicken and not meet her.
We will go over and meet her, absolutely.
No, I get really scared. It's
goofy.
I have sat at a table with J.R. Ward and not said anything and been like.
But because one of the first, but early on, we went to back whenever Joe Girls, I can't remember that, before it became Book Lovers Con.
It was RT.
And
it has not been that long.
No, but years ago, remember, who was it? I can't think of the name. Jamie and Prince was there, and you did not.
I didn't.
She was so scared to go.
I did. Now I finally, my editor from Berkeley made me meet her.
Yes.
And she was so sweet. Now, here is the one person that I've met who is so unintimidating and so lovely, and we both grew up. Charlene Harris is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Charlene Harris is so sweet. And I was sitting beside her, because we were both published by Berkeley. I was sitting beside her at a signing at a Berkeley event, and I was like, Charlene Harris is sitting there. And my editor, Kate Seaver, who's I love her so much, is like, she's right there. She's like, she's just like, Charlene, this is Lexi. She loves you. And she
was so sweet.
She's so sweet and unpretentious and just amazing. Almost every author I've met is amazing.
Yeah.
But I still get freaked out.
She does. It's so funny. So You who are nervous about coming up to see her, don't be. She is. Just know that she is good.
I'm super easy to meet there.
Yes.
We're just hoping what's the level of, what is it, 10? How much tequila has Lexi had?
That's right. Heather Morales asks, who was the first author that inspired you?
E.B. White. If we really want to get down to it, E.B. White wrote a book called Charlotte's Web. and I, that's who Charlotte's named after. But that's the first book I can remember reading. Somebody, when I was a child, gave me a hardback of it, and I still have it somewhere. It's chewed up by my dog, and not this one. No. She wouldn't chew. He would pee on it.
He would pee.
Where'd he go?
Oh, he's back there.
Oh. He is watching. He's watching by the door to make sure nobody comes in. That's the first book I really remember loving. I loved Gregory Hopkins and Catherine Patterson. And then, as I got older, I was a constant reader. What really got me into romance was my mom loved romance, and she would keep. We moved a lot when I was a kid, a lot, and the majority of what we would have to move would be my mom's books, and my dad would always be like, "Why can't we get rid of them?" Because I want to read them again. I started reading books, and that's what really got me. And the reason I thought I could become a romance author was really Jane Ankers, because she wrote quirky, weird, not perfect heroes and heroines. She was the first nerd hero I ever read. The first weird heroine who wasn't this perfect, should be a duchess, and she's beautiful, and she does everything exactly right. And that was kind of the first time that I saw myself in a book, in a romance novel. So, thank you, Jane Ankers.
Amanda Gaskin asks, what author have you met that was super excited to meet you and that you were surprised about that? I have one that I will give you an answer to.
Who's that?
Kristen Proby. Do you remember the first time you
met
Kristen Proby? She was like,
how do you know who I am?
She was so excited to meet you that first time.
Yeah. Now she's not. Now she's like, I know you.
Yes.
And Carly Phillips, because I love Carly Phillips, and I was like shocked that Carly Phillips knew who that was.
Yeah. Do you have a unicorn author?
And because I can say Shayla Black because I was not published when I met Shayla Black, so
yes.
She was not impressed.
Do you have a unicorn author? And I think that's probably, you would say, is there
no.
Who would it be?
Stephen King.
Oh, that would be really.
No, we're talking about a fucking unicorn. Stephen King. It's got that
would be
horn right there.
Super cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. I know that there's one here, but it's 8. I don't know if you know.
Nope, it is 8. Do we have more that I need to?
I don't know that I can get to them because my computer will stop scrolling after a while, so it might be something where we have to go back in and answer.
Okay, which I will do. I will go and watch some Sabrina, and in the morning I'm going to read back over this and answer any questions I didn't. Thank you all for coming. We did not mean to go this long. We always think that it's going to take like 5 minutes, and then
we were actually talking about this.
We were like,
oh, that's not very many questions.
That's
If it's 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes.
But then I talked about rhinos and tequila, and it all went to hell. Yeah. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this week, and we'll probably come back at some point in time. Oh, I didn't talk about Snowed In.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hang on. Don't leave yet.
We have a short coming out called Snowed In. It will be out March 10th. It was originally in the Alphas Confess All charity anthem. So if you have read that, you do not need to read this. It was originally titled In From the Cold. Here I changed it because there is a great spy movie called The Spy Who Came In From the Cold that I'm going to use that title, The Dom Who Came In From the Cold, in Masters and Mercenaries Reloaded. So it has changed to Snowed In, which works because they get snowed in. If you like menages and BDSM and dudes doing each other, because it's MMF, then you'll probably like this. And also Silly Summer, that scene will probably happen. So
Oh, everyone
Ooh.
else.
I know they always do, and I didn't in the original because there wasn't a place for it. But dude, they're 9 years down the line. If they're not doing each other now, they're totally doing each other. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, on that fun note, thank you all, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
She says as she tries to find it.